They're guys. They do magic. They are the Magic Guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 154 of the Magic Guys.
Never in the top. Why am I up here?
Today
you in the top?
I know. Things have just gone bananas today. I've been asleep when I should be awake. Doug's up the top. Nick's extra clean shaven for us all. And the most important thing is we're here to answer your questions as professional magicians. That's what we do on this pod. So welcome everyone, and let's get into it.
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for waking
Good morning. My pleasure. My pleasure. It's not noon yet, so it's still early for a magician.
This is part 2 of your day. I saw you hard at work earlier on this day already, so I know you've been at it.
Thanks. Yeah, just firing up for the day, trying to make the most of it. How are you, Nick? What's going on?
Living the dream, friend. I got up early today as well. I had a doctor's appointment just to be told I'm in perfect health. So look at me go. Yeah, it was good. He checked me thoroughly.
Well, it was actually me, Doug. That's why I was up so early, flying back from Melbourne. He likes me to pretend
you charge extra for the thorough exam.
I charge extra if they want me to pretend I'm Johnny Sins and wear the name tag and everything as the doctor.
I'm not the only one who gets that from Nick. That's interesting.
More importantly, yeah. Okay, so let's press on, friends. So again, this episode is a Q&A. We asked you guys to send through all of your questions that you may have. Thank you for doing all that, and thank you all for being here. So shout out to the folks who are watching live today. We got Ed, we got Tim, we got Bob, we got Ed again.
Everyone's here.
Thank you for being here.
Patrick's
shout
here
out
in
to
house. See them. Ed Blitch is here too.
Oh yeah, and a quick shout out to Alex Lamb, one of our fellow Magic guys, and I know someone who learns from Doug. He came to watch the Theatre of Magic, front row seats with his wonderful missus.
I saw that short. Hey, Alex, good to see you there.
Because I'd always just assumed he looked like Superman, because that's what his profile picture always was. But now I got to meet him in person, much better looking. So great to see him. All right, a lot of friends in the house.
Sierra. We got to get Blaze. Has Blaze been on this podcast? Did I miss that?
Blaze, what's up? I've infiltrated their podcast a couple of times with our comments, but we got to make it happen.
Yeah, Blaze, let us know your availability for next week. We would love to have you on the show. So
any week, or we'll accommodate you. I will drive hours to do your thing and etc.
Ooh, okay. Does it? I like what's happening here. Shall we press on to the
first? For Magi Fest right about now. That's about to kick off. It's one of the bigger conventions in the country. About the headlining that thing, and that's going to be a lucky audience. The material this young man does.
I see. Yeah, a lot of. That's awesome. I got to go to Magi Fest one year, and a lot of people I see are already posting and talking about Blackpool as well. So that must be coming up hot.
That's on my bucket list. I haven't done that one.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, how about there's so many, you guys are awesome sending in your speak pipes. Should we just cut to the first one straight away? There's so many in such little time, that we want to get to.
Enough dilly-dally.
Yeah, I reckon we'll go through a few of mine first, Nick, and then I think after maybe 3, we'll go to yours.
Oh yeah, that sounds
good. This first one comes from Dale. I'm trying to remember. Maybe from the UK. I can't remember. Here we go.
Hello guys, Dale from Newcastle here. Quick question for you. So on New Year's Eve, I was doing a gig and I was performing Nemesis. Not sure if you're aware of the trick, but you've got to rely on the spectator to cut the cards roughly about half. Doesn't have to be exactly half, but roughly half. And they should cut to your card. However, the spectator didn't do this. And he cut pretty much 3/4 of the deck, which means he wasn't going to cut to my card. Luckily, I was carrying decks, so I was able to do a nice quick little switch to make it look like he'd actually cut to my card. So it got us thinking, do you have a certain out for every trick, or do you have a specific out for a certain trick, or do you just use one out for most of your tricks? Thanks, guys.
That's a great question, buddy. Thanks for sending that through. So the question basically is, do we have multiple outs for every trick. If I may go first, gentlemen, I do things a little bit different. And what I do is I have routines that I can build upon and do extra phases of that are kind of like, I call them their cream. So you serve a delicious dessert. It's a good ice cream. It's a little bit of cake. It's a few different things. But ultimately, if there's an opportunity to add cream and make it a little bit better, I'll do that. So I don't have multiple outs as such, as I do have opportunities to go even further. So what I mean by that is that, let's just say that you hit a card force, okay? And from that card force, you can then say, look under your seat. And then from under your seat, you can go, now go to your car. And then under your car, like when you go home, look under your pillow. Like you can really just sort of push things further and further and further. I set up opportunities like that to go further and further down the line. So it's not.
Well, if I may play devil's advocate, let's say, because I know what he's asking, right? Like he's asking like your mid trick where this thing has to happen and it doesn't. Mm-hmm. So let's say, what does Nick do when you are doing a toxic force on a calculator and they mess it up and they've like hit clear and they've gone, oh, I pressed it wrong. Let me just start again. And now you're mid trick and they've started again. What do you do? You go to another trick. What do? Do you restart it? What? Do you just vanish the phone? Tell us.
Let me suggest that honestly, if you're a working professional, all the outs should be covered for the effects that you're presenting for your paying client. So it should be fail-proof in every fashion, in my opinion. Outside of that, we might play around and be allowed to fail and always have an invisible deck in our pocket if we're doing another card trick.
Yeah.
Which is what Dale said he did do, which is great. Right. Yeah. Good work, Dale. But I want to know what Nick would do. So you're doing toxic. They've just messed it up.
Okay, so I use a toxic entity that does not fail, which is Ian Pigeon's eye thump.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. Let's say that is good though. So basically, you're saying you've made it. You've made it.
What if your phone fails?
Exactly. So, well, here's the thing. So, if it did fail, if I was trying to do a toxic thing and it wasn't working, I would go, you know what? Like I go, look, it's okay. Like my fault. I didn't explain it very well. Let's try something different. Choose any one of these numbers. And then I will go into that Robert Ramirez type routine, which is part of his encyclopedia of impromptu iPhone magic. So I do have an out, but it just means it's a different road that you take. Now, the only person who's going to know that things swayed or didn't go perfectly is you. Your audience won't know that. So you shouldn't feel too much pressure about that. And again, if everything relies on this one thing and it's super duper important, it has to work. So one routine that is, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, is the color match. You guys familiar with the color match where you'll have a drawing of a person and you'll say, grab a pen, color the hat, color the shirt, color the shoes. If that routine does not work due to its method, which we won't give away on this podcast, there is no out. That's it. Like it has to work.
Boy, I was very excited to get that trick into my repertoire, and then so terrified to perform it, I never did. Because and actually, even the Murphy's release of this Adverti product has a lot of fail safes built in it for the professional. Let me not knock that product because there's like triple out fail safes in that thing. But even that, I'm like, if I put this in my repertoire, maybe I don't even remember to charge it one day, and then that's on. That can happen. So
exactly. So I guess to answer your question is a fail safe can not only be a different method or a different way to get the correct outcome, you can also sway to a different routine. And that's, I think, the best advice we can give for you with regards to moving forward with that one. So either one, find a different way to hit the force. You can always circle back to it. So you got three options, really. You can trade the force a different way. It's just as simple as this, like, oh, sorry, I saw the card. Can you choose another one?
That's just go left, take a left turn. Allow me to suggest this. Remember your card and we'll get back to it. And then just don't, just don't. That's an option,
Yeah. Thinking about Dale's routine, the situation he just said he was in, he said that he needed the spectator to cut around the middle, and they cut around 3/4. After doing pneumonocosis for so long, the answer to that should be, if they cut 3/4, you go, great. Okay, now that 3/4, go ahead and cut that in half. And if they're already cutting deeper than they should, then cutting into a third of a deck deeper than they should will end up being the half that you were trying to get to. So that would probably be the out I would work on. If they cut deeper, go, great. And now what you've just left us with, cut that. And then you're going to get to your ending.
Yeah, that moment is navigatable.
Yeah, because I love coming back to what Ozzy Wynn says. It shouldn't be an out, it should be an outcome. There should just be different outcomes that are just as good, whether it's another effect, variation, or just not adding the cream on top, which Nick was mentioning. And yeah, there's a few little moments I've had where like I've not done the right algorithm on a Rubik's Cube, but I've just moved on to the next phase without bringing it up that it was meant to be a moment. Yeah, but good question. And it never hurts to have an invisible deck on you. Like I think for the last 10 years, I've had an invisible deck just sitting in my case when I'm doing a stage show, but I've never used it, but it feels nice to have it there. That's what I would say.
I remember first time I saw David Copperfield, and he pulls this thing out in the middle of his stage show, does Jumbo Invisible.
Yeah. Who did you say?
You know, something obviously was wrong backstage. You know, I don't think that's going to be a material for Sexy Dave in the 80s or 90s. But I saw him do it on the stage, and I'm sure he keeps it in the repertoire. Although nowadays it's probably B-Wave, because that's how Dave rolls. B-Wave.
All right, Dale, thank you for your question. Very provocative. We could go on about this forever, which is awesome. But let's press on. Our next one is from Scotty P, an avid listener and friend of the podcast, Scotty P.
Scotty P, the mid-strength magician, here again with a question specifically for Nick.
Ooh.
Are you familiar with music at all? No, sorry, just kidding. You mentioned that 98% of your routines are done standing. Are there any routines that you're proud of that you've adapted from being typically a tabled routine to a standing routine? Or other ways that you've managed, such as using the spectator's hands as a table?
Thank you, Scotty
P.
All right.
Thank you, Scotty P. Killer question, Scotty P. Yes, I definitely have done some adaptations. You know, when I work at a table, I do some lapping, quite a bit of lapping, especially in some of the coin routines that I do. I have a particular coin to glass and coins through table piece that I do that I'm super proud of. It's something I've been trying to adapt to a standing position. Rocco Solano, who was one of my biggest influences with sleeving, was also a student of Slidini, who did a lot of lapping. And it was Rocco's thought process who said, what if I took the notion of lapping into the notion of sleeving? So I've done the very same thing. So one of the things I've done, obviously, is mimicked the knowledge that was handed down to me from Rocco's teachings and adopt the lapping into sleeving. Now, atop of that, using people's hands is something I definitely do. It does tend to get a little difficult depending on where you are, in a sense that people are holding their hors d'oeuvres, they're holding their drinks. They might only have one hand to do something, but there is little subtleties that you can use in order to get someone to be compliant with using their hands. So let's say that you wanted to do like a card to box and the card's already preloaded inside the box. You would ask the spectator to hold out their hand, and regardless of what they do, you make an adjustment with their hand. So you grab their hand, move it slightly and go, perfect, hold it just there. And just by them making that little adjustment lets them know that, okay, cool. Like this has been corrected. I need to keep it here now in order for this to work, you know? And I, in fact, say, leave it perfectly still or this will not work. And I say that. And if they move around, like it'll be a screw up because I emulate that I'm going to sneak a card under the box in which it goes inside the box. So if they do move around, I have a presentational out, if you will. So there's that type of thing you can do as well. Now, one of the things I also do that I haven't shared before is that I do a card to box in the same person's hand. Now, they've got a reference in their head from what a single card feels like in a box. And then we're going to try and put a whole deck in the box and have them experience the exact same thing. The way I achieve this is I get that person to hold their hand way above their head, their arms straight up, and they hold the pack of playing cards above their head. When you hold a pack like this, you can't tell how heavy it is. And so I do that under the guise of hold it up as high as you can so everyone can see. Can everyone see that? And so the deck's way above their head. And I go, watch it. I go, the card's going to go in the box. Everyone watch closely. I then go, snap. I'm holding one playing card. I show the whole pack is gone. I go, raise your hand down. The moment they raise their hand down, I say, notice it feels a little heavier than it did before? And they go, yeah. And then you crack it open and the whole pack's gone inside the box. But when their arm is fully extended, elbow locked specifically above their head, they cannot feel how heavy the box is until they drop their hand back down and it's about chest height and they can actually appreciate the leverage and the feel. And I came up with that a long, long time ago now. But yeah, that's a super awesome secret of mine that I share with you guys, our wonderful audience.
Yeah, boy. Let me give some love to that. All I could think about when you were saying that was Lonely Island's Dick in a Box featuring Justin Timberlake. Because like the way you're mentioning, put your hand up and open it up, what's inside? It's my dick in a box. Great stuff.
I'm over here thinking about a solution to my 1 in 51 transposition problem I've been trying to solve for my whole life. So this is the way to accomplish this. The spectator assumes there to be one card or a whole deck of cards, either one in their hand. And now you just need to change the other singular unit into the other thing. One card changes places with the deck. Work on that.
Hell yeah. All right. Scotty P on fire, man. Thank you. Next, we have Dave in brackets, Delightful Deception. What a name. All right, Dave, you're up. Let's see what you got.
Hey, Magic guys. It's Dave from England. A merch idea. What about something like card clips, maybe, with Magic Guy's logo on? Might be a nice idea. Cheers, guys. See ya.
Oh, I like this. Speak pipes to help our merch brand, in which if you are considering getting merch, oh, look at that. A banner just popped up. TheMagicGuysShow.com is where you can find that merch. Hey, I never considered a card clip because I can't say I use them these days anymore. Do you guys?
You know what I do is I keep a trick deck and a card clip in my working case, just so I know that's the trick deck. It's like a deck marker for me more than anything.
Clever. I have a pub deck, when I go to the pub, and that one stays within its clip. You know what I mean? Because you get some longevity out of the cards. Just the fact that they're being compressed, and when you crack them open, they just last a lot longer and they're a lot fresher. Yeah, but that's a great idea.
We should definitely look into that. I'm just seeing now. I remember I was gifted this card clip, which is actually a wallet built into being able to store one deck inside.
Ooh, that's
so you can put
nice.
Your
I
license,
love that it has utility aside from the clip. Oh, I dig it.
Yeah, this is handmade by someone from Adelaide. I remember Jason Ma giving it to me because he made a couple for him, and so it's Aussie made, and like that could be one idea, for example. But might look into it because that is cool. I remember when all the craze was over Dan and Dave Buck's like alligator clips and stuff.
Yeah,
I would think any like magic related merch would be smart, right? Stuff that might be an accessory. I don't know if it'd be a wand, but you could say MG, Magic Guy's wand, or something like that.
Yeah, and it could contain
change bags. Change bags are hot.
Yeah, it could contain not a strand of our hair, but maybe a strand of our eyebrow or something in each wand. You know how you'd have like the hair of a feather of a phoenix. Yeah, that could, or maybe a beard hair. That could be a thing. I feel like Nick's going to go and show us. Either he's going to take a dump, or he's going to show us
change bag. I'm sure his embossed change bag. It says "mind blower" on the right below the frilly curly cues.
Yeah.
Please tell me that's a change bag. Oh, damn it.
Oh, look out. Buff Charlie Chaplin.
It is National Hat Day.
Challenge accepted, Tim. How many hats can we fit in the episode? Hat number 1. Let's move on.
Tim noticed. I don't know if anyone else has noticed. I'm on my 3rd hat of the episode.
Nice.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Nice.
Well, I better speed things up a little bit then.
Well, I also have.
It was like curious, like how many could I get away with? That's number 4. If anyone's counting.
If you look in. If you look at my background, where my finger's pointing right here is actually a top hat sitting on top of my headlight. So that's technically another one. So I'm technically rocking 3 right now. I mean, I have so many I could grab, but let's
be clear that if we went to war, I would win. I would just have to stand up and gather the hat. Nick, you have an impressive collection there.
Wow, look at this.
Nick might win. How many bowlers do you have?
I got 3 more. So quite a few.
That's wow. I love it.
Wow.
What brand do you buy? Do you
one for every different mood Nick K can be in.
Do you have a favorite brand?
No, not particularly. I just kind of get them from Mad Hatter, which is a store here in Melbourne town. Sorry, I'm too far away from the mic. But yeah, I don't know. I use these for my final loads in my cup and balls routine. To produce.
I thought you were going to say in your deck in a box routine. That's your final load hat.
Tim, one of my first magic hats was a pork pie, so I've rocked a pork pie in my day. But nowadays, if I wear something too close to that, even when I wear these, they call me Heisenberg.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like the Walter White of magic.
I mean, that could totally be a character when you're out there. Like,
I get that on TikTok. I'm on live.
Kid, come here.
Bryan Cranston's doing magic now.
Hey, it's better than Johnny Sins, bro. Take it. That's great. That's great. Nick, how about we listen to your speak pipe?
Yeah, I was sent a speak pipe from Milan Brunette Sabistia. I'm butchering your name, Milan, but he sent me a wonderful message on the gram, and I asked him politely if I could share what you said. It's not so much a question, but something just
let's hear it.
Wonderful message from a fellow listener. So let's have a listen.
Hello, Nick K. Hey, my name is Milan Brunet, and I'm originally from Paris, France, but I live in Pensacola, Florida, not too far from Doug, actually a couple hours from him. But I was catching up on your podcast and the episode where you mentioned that you wish, at this point in your life, you would have done more just because time is running out. Just want to let you know that is absolutely nonsense. Because you're are doing a lot, and obviously, that. But just with the podcast alone, just want to let you know that you guys are a true inspiration for me. And I decided to take magic to a next level last year. I actually opened a magic school in Pensacola, Florida. And it's Pensacola Magic, and I've enrolled 100 students, so kids and adults. It's an 8-week course, and you guys have been a true inspiration.
This is a 2-parter, so stand by. Yeah, it gets better.
I didn't know we only had 1 minute, so true inspiration. With all the knowledge and everything that you bring into the podcast, is like you guys been holding my hand in some way, and I just wanted to share that. When I heard you say that on the podcast, I was like, hell no, I need to let the guy know how great and how how much you guys are doing for the community. So I hope we can one day connect in person, if you're in the States or if I come to Australia, and I can finally tell my friend here in the US that I had lunch with my good friend Nick K. So man, just keep doing what you're doing. Sharing is loving. So that's what I'm doing with the school, and that's what you guys are doing with the podcast. So just keep it up. Love what you guys are doing, and wish you the best for what's next, my brother. See ya.
Doesn't that just fill your cup?
Wow, that's so cool.
Doesn't that message just fill your cup? Honestly, that is, again, I've already extended my thanks in my messages to him, but thank you so much for those kind words. That alone inspired me.
As a professional, for hundreds of magicians,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's your guy, but come on, House of Cards Magic School.
Beautiful.
So we are, for those watching or listening to the pod, we are playing videos right now, which you can review yourself on YouTube. We'll also post a link of Mulan's school. If you guys are within the area, of his location, to enroll and share the gift of magic with everyone. He's clearly driven by passion. And the fact that you've got 100 students in such a small amount of time, that is phenomenal. Like, a credit to you.
I want to know more. I want to know more about this man and his endeavors for sure.
Yes,
I'll be checking this out after the pod.
Hell yeah.
Cool stuff.
We'll post it in if you're listening to this, it's in the description.
Awesome.
Vice versa video, it'll be there after this live. That's awesome. How cool that we can he would, let's be honest, like, I feel like, Milan, you would have done that by yourself anyway, but if we can still be there just to help some of that motivation fuel, like, that's freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome. And what more can I say? Hopefully we get to meet in person one day. Sounds like you might meet Doug before us, because
it's like 3 hours away. That's possible. I go through Pensacola now and again, so I'll put that school on my radar and make a pit stop next time I'm driving through for sure. I'm hoping you have a little retail establishment or something hooked up to it, and we'll be looking for it. I'll see you in Pensacola before you know it.
Hell yeah. Was there one more, Nick, or was those two messages the one?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's beautiful. All right, our next voice speak pipe is from Thomas Hadson. Now, Thomas, he's from Sydney, and I've not heard from Thomas for a while, but he used to, in our early days of doing the podcast, used to send in voice messages, and I remember watching his journey, so like 3 years ago. So it's very cool to see his name pop up again. So let's hear from Thomas Hadson from Sydney.
Hey guys, Thomas Hudson here. Now I hope everything's all going well for you all, and my question for you wonderful magicians today would be, what are the processes you guys need to go through to refine your routines? And how do you all know when a routine or a certain effect feels complete? Now I know that there are heaps of considerations to weigh in here, and I also know that the magic community is really big on advice and feedback. So how do we know when our routines feel complete? And we are confident enough to put them in our close-up sets and our stage sets. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good day.
All right, Thomas, so well spoken as well. That money put into going to college has paid off. So I remember you're in uni back in the day when you used to conversate with us. Great question.
Yeah, Thomas, thanks for the question. And so ultimately, it's refinement versus completion, which is interesting, because for me, I don't think that, I mean, like, we have routines that are good and done, but truly, like, do we ever finish working on them? Are we always willing to make it a little bit better?
Here's where magicians miss the boat. They don't dress rehearse the routines. They practice the sleights. They go through the trick. Sometimes they rehearse the trick with the patter, but they don't put their suit on with all the pockets and do the trick that comes before it and pretend there's an audience there and videotape the rehearsal. And it's this process of practice, rehearse, and then dress, frickin' rehearse. If you can go street perform or go somewhere and perform it a couple of 100 times before you take it out, even there, it'd be great. Yeah, dress rehearsing is the key, right?
That is the best bit of advice that Dwayne, my mentor, also gave me as well. It's like, if you're going to practice, you got to practice in your regalia that you're going to wear. I mean, look, outside of maybe practicing a sleight, if you're just going to be using your hands while watching TV or something of that nature, sure. But if you are going to actually routine something that you do, like for stage or whatever else, pocket management is key, especially with my style of magic. So I agree with that as well. So I guess one, to refine by rehearsing with your clothes on. And as far as it being complete, I think you never stop being complete.
Put that comment by Blaze Sierra up. Read that.
We'll read this out aloud. I believe Gabby Paredes said, magicians are more like gardeners than painters, forever tending to our crop and trying to bring new life to them. They don't just go up on the wall as completed piece. And I think that is very, very, like, I agree with that entirely, Yeah. So I like to
have the piece best rehearsed, you're just starting. Then you go perform it for 20 years, and at the end of that, it's nearing completion.
Yeah, I have routines I've been doing for 16 years, and the version 1 or the Mark 1 versus like the Mark 16 of like my coins across that I have now, like don't restrict yourself is what I'm trying to say. So you're going to be constantly refining and constantly completing and making new versions of it. It's the same reason why you look at a Ford Focus car, like the model number 1 versus the model today. The model today is better. It's faster. It's lighter. It's got better aircon, whatever it might be. You're just constantly going to be improving. So the answer to refining and completing is you're always going to be refining and completing.
I'll add 3 things. Thomas is asking, where is it good enough to put in your set? So there's 3 places I've noticed. One is I love going out to the street and practicing new stuff that will just probably go wrong or like not go wrong, but probably won't get a reaction. Like it's completely unknown. So I love going out to Queen Street here in Brisbane and just trying stuff. Like for the life of me, I really loved Colin Cloud's drawing duplication wallet he brought out. But for the goddamn life of me, I cannot get a freaking good reaction from it with my persona performing it. So like whenever I go out to the street, I'll try a different way of performing this thing because I just cannot make it good enough where I would feel comfortable putting it in a set where someone's paid me. So there's lots of different, that's just one example. But yeah, so Street Magic is just like so great because you can just run a routine, 20 times with no pressure.
Justify.
Absolutely.
That's the stuff. Just go do it.
Yeah. The second place that I found really helpful is having other magicians like gig with you and actually watch you in the zone. Because one of our performers at the Theatre of Magic, the amazing Nigel, he's the most seasoned out of the 3 of us at Theatre of Magic. And I got to get him on this podcast. He's so freaking funny. But there's 2 routines he does that he has done for, I don't know, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years or something. And from myself and Christopher Wayne watching him do it, we've given him ideas and he's gone, holy crap. And he's changed. So one of them, for example, is he does this routine, hilarious routine with like a plastic bag and a deck of cards. And a card penetrates this plastic bag. And he's always just done it the way he does it. And then we said, why don't you get a laser pointer and give it to the spectator and pretend like it's a laser cutter and have them draw the line in the bag for the card to now be able to penetrate through, and then you heal it and they check it. And now it's this whole funny thing because the spectator accidentally points the laser like on his head straight away. And it's just added an extra 5%. And he's never thought to do that. And he has another routine where he's doing book tests and he would always get them to name a word and it would be a joke. He wouldn't actually find it. It'd be like, oh, that would be good if I could have done that, but I can't. And then we gave him a method of what if you could do a callback later on and have that word actually be written down in this jar. And now it's like one of the main pieces in the show. And it used to just be a throwaway joke. And same for me. I'm like, guys, can you watch me do this set and give me advice? And so that's been amazing having other professionals watch you do your work. And one of our friends here wrote video recordings. So like you could send a recording of yourself to another professional friend and they could give advice on that. And just before Nick jumps in with his gold, the third one, because I said I had 3. So it's like magicians watching.
Recording yourself and watching it honestly is a great step, if you can do that.
Yeah.
It really is.
Street Magic, them watching, and I feel like there was a third one.
It's Omegle. Omegle. You go to Omegle.
So yeah, maybe it was.
I jump on TikTok a lot nowadays for this to actually get rehearsal time for routines I haven't done in a while. Like if I'm a little rusty on some stuff, I could do TikTok for an hour and I'm in performance mode. So I'm not just practicing the slides, I'm actually performing the material for the people. And there is great value in that. And,
oh yeah. The very last thing was, if I have a new close-up routine, I'll wait till the very end of the gig when I'm like done. And that one person that's been super nice to you and keeps wanting to talk and like I've seen you do a bunch of stuff, I might quietly say to them, hey, do you want to see like just something I'm working on? And then I might try it. That might be how I introduce like a new thing. That's all I'll say. Anyway, Nick, with the Jedi hat.
Yeah. So you are going to get feedback from people. All right. Now, one thing that I want you to be wary of is that sometimes people give feedback, right? But they don't take into account your character, your style, and things of that nature that make you quintessentially go away, that make you. Okay. Now, I bring that up because there's nothing worse than when you're trying to... No, Clement, go away. So there's nothing more difficult than when you're trying to do a podcast and someone's trying to call through. But on top of that, when somebody is... when you're getting feedback, like let's say that like I go, you guys help me with a routine, but they're giving me feedback on how they would do it. It's like that's not the best way to get feedback. So when you are getting that feedback, it's okay to say, you know what, like thank you for your input, but not take their advice. Okay, it's gonna happen a lot.
The worst thing you could do would be to post your video in a public magician forum and say, "Can I have feedback?" Like that's the worst thing you could do, because everyone's going to try and feel like make themselves feel better.
One thing we do here in Melbourne is we have a thing called Magicians at Work, and we have a show. It's like a free show. You got to get your tickets for free online at the Art Center, a little venue that holds 80 people. It's called The Channel, and we do that every month or every second month, depending on like sometimes we have dedicated jam sessions, and then the week after we have like a full show. So the idea is that you get on stage, you have like 5 to 10 minutes. For me, I go to the audience and say, okay, hey guys, I'm working on a new routine. I would like feedback on whether or not you know how it's done and whether or not you can see how it's done. So enjoy my performance. I do my performance. They then have 1 minute at the end of it to write on a piece of paper their feedback. They put it all into a hat, and then I take that feedback and I go read it backstage. As well as that, we have 2 people who are theater directors and so forth who watch the show from the back, and then they give us feedback on the presentation as well. So
yeah, that's cool. That's also
that works
cool.
really well.
That's an understatement. That's amazing. That is amazing. What a way to get great.
Yeah, it's
greater.
It's good for community. It's good for community.
Love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Thomas, get some reps going of the routine. Find a place you can do it.
Perform a lot. That's how you do it.
Just perform a lot. All right. Next one is from Kyle Magic. Kyle Magic is up next. We love you, Kyle.
Hi guys, it's Kyle W. Magic from England. I'd just like to say that your show is absolutely fantastic. We watch it every week when we get a chance to. And we just joined Doug's membership, and let me say it's really, 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 really good. So any beginner magicians out there want to join it, you'll do yourself a favour and go join it. My question is, where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 years? To all of you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Oh, damn. He's going deep. So where do we see ourselves in 2029? Goddamn. Doug, what do you think?
So my current trajectory leads to a published resource for the general public, and I'm traveling the world. Hopefully by 2029, I'm having my Spanish printing done, and I'm in some bookstores in Spain, signing books and, showing people how to do magic right. I'm assuming my role as a professor for the next 5 to 10 years, and excited to do that. And that's kind of the culmination of my trajectory, I think, leaving a resource for future generations that's printed.
Yeah, I think you'll be up there in lights. How people mention Michael Lamar or Bill Malone, it'll be like Doug Kahn, because so many of the generation will have grown up learning from you, right? So
I'm hoping to reach a general populace along similar lines of Mark Wilson and Bill Tarr. And I don't think there's been a strong overall introductory volume, although I do like this one by Nick Einhorn. This is a great one. Nick, you got this right. The Practical Encyclopedia of Magic. When was this thing published?
90s, wasn't it? I don't know. Josh, what's your 5-year plan while Doug looks that up?
Ooh, so I love what John Prentice said. In 5 years, they'll be on episode 532. So I pray it's still the same cast on this pod. No one gets too famous that they've jet set it off. And I will be, I'll be turning 40 by the end of 2029. Is that right? 34, 20.
About that.
Spring chicken is what we call them in my neighborhood.
Yeah. So, okay. So 5 years. Okay. So I imagine the Theatre of Magic is like a staple of something that you have to see
hearing
in
that.
Brisbane. Thank you, Doug. So I imagine that's like a big part of my world. I foresee, us doing a lot more live audience-based podcasts by then, I would hope, because, we'll be 8 years into the podcast.
Be in the metaverse, probably.
Yeah, because I honestly do,
the internet will be.
It's we love, I love hearing those messages of you guys actually listening, because we talk to each other all week and we see some of you in the live chat and then we just and then that's it and we go live our lives. But it's really cool to hear people that don't aren't there typing in, but hearing your messages saying you do listen. That's very cool. So I definitely imagine Magic Eyes is still going strong in 5 years' time. And I feel like I've probably developed my own like unique magic show that I'm doing in more of a stage format by then that is full of stuff that I really enjoy doing. And I finally fucking get some recognition online on social media, you fucks. Come on. What the fuck? And so that's it. Yeah. What about you, Nick?
I think. How do you follow that answer? Okay. I think in 5 years' time that I start another band. And what I do is I write songs about Taylor Swift because all of our songs are about breaking up with the boy. But I want to write the songs from the boy's perspective. Let's see how that goes. And just hang shit on Taylor Swift and then be like, really? You're going to slander me? And then be like, what about the time you crapped on my bed? That might have been the other guy with Amber Heard. But, erroneous of that. Like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a band and write songs from the perspective of the boyfriends who have been dumped by Taylor Swift.
You know what you could do? You could do a Lonely Island thing and take her songs and rewrite them to magic. Like magic related.
Oh, yeah.
Like magic is your girlfriend and you're like annoyed or, why do you cost so much? Why do I have to keep buying you wands? Like, that could be pretty funny.
So much? Why do I have to practice so hard? Why won't you just work?
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you always working on the weekends? You never take me anywhere nice,
Yeah. I agree with that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my plan for 5 years. Next question.
Wait, no, but what is your real plan for 5 years?
Look,
what's going on?
My goal ultimately. Look, there is a lot of stuff. I think we mentioned this in a New Year's resolution that we were talking about all the things that we want to do, wanna, what we're gonna like. And my mindset now has gone to like what I'm gonna do. And so I am at the point now where I've got everything in motion. I'm redoing my branding. I'm redoing my website. I'm meeting up with like engineers and so forth to get all my ideas I've been sitting on for a long, long time because I have expensive ideas that I want to get off the ground. I'm at the point now in my life, in my career, where the cash flow is something that I just gone, you know what? Don't save money this year. Let's be broke. Let's be broke for just 1 year. Just 1 year. And if it works, move on. And if it doesn't, you go, meh, at least I tried. So I'm kind of in step one of my 5-year plan, but step one needs to happen first before I plan what happens next. If I was to be really overzealous when I hadn't really thought this far ahead, but if I thought really far ahead, this would be my 5-year goal. All right. Hear me out. Get my routines that are so dope that they're really good and I perform them regularly. Get a phone call from Australia's Got Talent and they go, hey, what's up, man? We need you to do our show. I go, no worries. I'm going to do this thing. And rather than creating stuff for Australia's Got Talent, I've already got routines that I've been doing for X amount of time. I'm just going to go on and do the stuff I always do. Do Australia's Got Talent, win Australia's Got Talent. Then use that money and go straight to Channel 7 or wherever the crap and go, listen up. I want your best writers, your best this, and your best theater people. I have ideas for a theater show. We're going to do this theater show. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, we're going to do a theater show. It's going to be a touring show. You're going to plug the crap out of it. I'm going to split X amount profit with you. Here's the deal. Sign the papers. We're going to do this show. Do the show. Tour it for a year or two, right? Once that show is done, we're going to record the show. Once the show's recorded, you can broadcast the crap out of it on Channel 7. While that show's being broadcasted on repeat, we are writing a new show. Write a new show. Tour that show. Tour that show. Tour that show. Once it's done touring, record it and repeat. Do 3 or 4 of these. Make a few $1 million. Buy a couple of Porsches, a Ferrari 458, maybe a Datsun in between all that for fun, and then just go, cool, I'm done.
What about, is FISM on the plans? FISM or Fool Us or...
I am not a competition magician. I am not a competition magician at all.
What about the Ford Fiesta? Have you seen the new ones?
They're pretty cool, huh?
Nice.
Yeah.
I would say that whole plan is dope, except for having to rely on Australia's Got Talent to do anything helpful. That's all I would say. But I would say these days, you getting notability on social media is probably more helpful than you winning Australia's Got Talent, because I can tell you the last 2 people that won Australia's Got Talent, like, I couldn't even tell you who they are. And yeah, they've vanished.
Literally. They're gone.
So, but you could win it purely for the sake of that being your audition tape for America's Got Talent. But and what about the Magic Castle? Do you foresee you performing at the Magic Castle?
I would like to.
In the next 5 years.
No, I would like to, absolutely. But I just think that's more or less a I don't know, just kind of like I've done that. I don't really think it's any great accolade. You know what I mean? I know people who have done it. I don't think that it means you can like earn more, anything like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I disagree with that. In the United States, it's a good thing to have on your resume. And I think you can say, especially if you're in that area, if you say, yeah, I worked at Magic Castle, everyone's going to be like, you worked at Magic Castle.
Right.
I do agree that it is a less of a grandiose thing than people might have made it out to be through the years, and maybe less so later in life. But it's a thing.
I would love to, but I think like if you had 250 grand from a TV show that you said, I got 250 grand, I'm now going to use this to build a show, and just dump 250. Imagine if you had a 250 grand budget to do a theater show. Think of the stuff you could actually come up with. Think about, like, tell me, bro, Marcus Eddy, first phone call. I wouldn't even think twice. You go, Marcus, I have an idea for a show. Here's 200 grand. Call whoever you need to call. Hire who you need to hire.
That'll get you a week. Let's do it.
Done. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Garcia, Eddie, Voight, imagine.
The whole clan. We write a show together. I go, here's the ideas. I don't know how to do them. I'm this far into them. They go, that's a stupid idea. Do it like this. Like, that would be great, you know, to get those ideas off the ground. Now, moving on, I actually remember that I did have, it wasn't a question, but it was more of a gig story that I actually got from our good friend Buck from Do Scala Magic.
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you guys want to hear this funny story?
Let's do it. And then we'll try and get through the rest of them before this episode ends. So please.
Yeah. So the premise of this is that a lot of times when you're doing magic, people think that you have strings, and it just become like an ongoing gag where you do something and you just yell out, it's string, it's string. And here's a story of how that joke sort of came about. Here we go.
Dude, so my buddy, the Magic James, this is like many, many months back, but he was down in Southern California, and he went to the Disney Magic Shop, and the dude in there was, I guess he was, doing UFO or whatever, and there was this, like, I don't know, 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid there. Dude, and like the second that UFO card came out, the kid just, as you would expect from a kid that age, was like, hey, string. Not it is string, not it's string, but it's string.
We're wearing the wrong color for this.
And poor guy, I guess he was trying to play it off or something. Doll. Anyway, kid, just being a kid. But I love that it's string. So that's the source on that one.
So just a little geek story on.
That's exactly why I don't float stuff. It always looks like it's on string, right? Oh shit. It does though. Every damn time. It looks like it's on string.
That music was really something. Were you in an elevator when you recorded that, or
good question?
Is that just your real life? Wow. Okay. Alex is our next speak pipe. Thank you for leaving this message. It looks like a quick one.
Hey, this is Alex here from Axon Magical Adventures. Quick question for you. Any good tips on double lifts or any variations on it? Let me know.
Good tips.
Here's a good one.
Good tips.
I do. Well, here's the thing. I did. Okay, double stick tape. Is that what you're holding up there, Doug?
Yeah, that makes the doubles really. They stay together really good. You put a little of this in between them. The old double stickeroo.
It'll never split.
Camera doesn't. My camera's trying to focus on the voodoo doll still.
That's the turnover, is what that is. Using tape.
I do. Okay, so for me, I like my single card to look the same as my double card. Some people get a break from the back of the deck with their thumb. Some people will get a break from the side of the deck, or perhaps a get ready. I personally do. Well, I came up with my own way of doing it, but I was later identified as the Larry Jennings snap double, in which you riffle off two cards with your thumb, do a kind of bubble push off, and that card then snaps over for you to do a double lift. That's the tip I kind of prefer to do. But ultimately, there's a couple of ways you can go about it so that it's actually like imperceptible that it is an actual double lift. Like, you can do a KM turnover and then place the card on top so you have this nice retention of vision, then do your double because you've maintained a break. So try and avoid it if you can. There's a lot of ways of doing that. Like obviously in the context of a routine, it makes a lot of sense that you probably have to do it. And as Doug sort of displays now, that's a single dub. Yeah. So now Doug is peeling off the back there, right?
I think he's using tape though.
Yeah.
He's using tape. Which you can get at conjure.com.
This is the new double lift system. Murphy's will have this soon. And I'm getting Craig Petty on board for a 3-hour download to go with it.
Hell yeah. His son will love to add it into a show. Ryland.
Yeah. But as far as tips go, man, like you've got get readies. The most I guess just deceiving one or deceptible one would be the pinky pull down, because the angles are really good on this one. Except
allow me to interrupt you there, because I do have a actual piece of advice here. The most deceptive one is probably related to the routine that you're doing. So you're going to have to choose a proper double lift to fit the magic. Sometimes it's going to be this. Hey, look at the card. And that's fine. You just pick the dang thing up by the end, show people, put it down, because that's what the routine needs. Sometimes people will be looking down and scrutinizing, and you'll want to use your Vernon and your Stuart Gordon turnovers, and that's the thing. So it depends on the moment of the trick and how the dynamic is handled as to what can work best for your double lift in the moment.
Well said. And the last thing I'll add is I'll just say the strike double lift changed my world. The day that I learned that, I went from crowns to perfume. So,
but have you tried tape?
That's my next venture. That I'm going to have to.
I'll get you the download once Petty's
I'm going to have to. I'm going to wait to learn that from Slide School.
If you wait an extra month, you can just pick it up from China for $2.99 and get it real cheap. That's what I do.
That's what the magic community is going to do for sure. All right, let's try and get through these last three. So this one is from Anonymous. Love it. Great marketing.
Hey guys, if you could recommend me a wallet that I could use every day, not for a ton of stuff, but basically something that would facilitate a card to wallet with a palm. Thanks.
All right, I think that's a Doug question. Doug?
The one I swear by is the Tony Miller Real Man Speed Loader design. I use it as my everyday carry. I prefer it because it does not use a slide, so there's no big setup before the palmed card gets loaded into the wallet. And beyond that, if you want to use this wallet and integrate this. I don't have it set up. There it is. Wrong side. You can finish with a folded bill that's paper clipped and the card is inside there.
Ooh,
so that
that's
it's
cool.
like doing the card in envelope, except the reset is literally 10 seconds if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And if you're working for tips, that's a 20 and you get 20s, you know.
That's a hip wallet, right, Doug?
This is a real man speed loader. And if you give me 10 seconds, I'll grab the box and show everyone exactly what it is.
Yeah, while you grab that one, if you were looking for a type of wallet that would go like in your breast pocket of your jacket, I use the Caps wallet. There's other types out there. I've tried the ATW wallet. The Mullica wallet you can't get anymore.
Actually, Penguin Magic just re-released the hip pocket. So that's available. This is the Speed Loader plus Tony Miller and Mark Mason release. So it's a a billfold wallet, and I load it out of my front pocket. So I put it right here, and the palm card just makes this short journey there. So
damn, to be honest, in a casual situation and a lot of gigs now, if I'm wearing a waistcoat, I'm just using the card to phone app. And that's my...
Okay. Oh, you've mentioned that.
Yeah, that's my card to wallet.
Yeah.
Worth looking into as well. Great question. Great question. We have two more. I feel like we can get through them.
All right.
Our next one is from Andrew. This is about a minute long, so let's run that. Love a good saucy minute voice message.
How are you, gentlemen? This is Andrew, the Magic Buzz from up in Canada.
Oh, nice. Magic Buzz.
Just wanted to ask your opinion. I've moved towards doing mostly dinner parties, sort of 7 to 16 people sized dinner parties. And so basically parlor, a little bit of walkabout depending on the situation. I'm just wondering, what are your opinions on length of time for performance? I mean, I can do anything from 30 minutes to 2 hours. I'm just wondering what's optimal. Keep it shorter, leave them wanting more, or give them their money's worth, push towards an hour always, unless it looks like the attention is waning. Anyway, love to hear you guys weigh in on that. Been enjoying your show a lot for a while now. Keep up the great work.
Awesome, Andrew. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. So here's the thing. If you're doing a dinner type setup, I like to try and gauge how many courses are going to be done so that there's, not a lot of boring downtime or anything like that. And the last thing you want is like when people are eating, that they are going to be sort of like too afraid to break the ice and so forth, right? So I've done quite a few different ones of these where I was at this very lovely man's house. He was a surgeon. Or he had a surgery rather, and all of his surgeons beneath him, and he had a thing in his home, and there was like about 5 or 6 tables, and I just did spots in between each course. So plates would be struck. I would go out. I would do 20 minutes at most. I would go, thank you very much, enjoy, and that would give enough time for the kitchen to redo what they got to do, serve their next meal, and away they go. So food would come out. They'd be engaged in conversation. They'd go, how amazing was that? How do you think it did this, this, this? So you can do it either by multi-phasing, which is one way of doing it, or if you're doing these type of dinner situations, another way of doing it is that you do like the pre-dinner drinks before they come and sit down. So you're the icebreaker. So people start arriving, but let's say the dinner's at 7. They start arriving between 5:30 and 6:30. You start performing at 6 till 7. As soon as 7 hits, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You've been an absolute pleasure as you're roving around the party, for example, or in a more parlor casual style setup. 7 begins. They all then go to their seats, and you've already done all the ice breaking before the show actually starts. Those are my 2 bits that I hope can help you, my friend. What say you, boys?
Yeah, I'll jump to just those situations that Andrew's talking about that I've done. In a house party situation, roving magic before the show, always so helpful because they know you're good and now they want to watch you. Especially because a lot of house party shows inevitably there are going to be people that are standing up to watch your show, which is never ideal. But in a house party, you can kind of get away with it because it's more of an intimate setting. So, like the last few that I've done like half an hour of roving so that people got like a taste of what's going on. I can sense the audience. And then I would do like a 30 to 40 minute show, which normally if it all hits right, it ends up being like 45 to an hour. But that's more of a vibe thing because if they're really bantering on and loving it, it just takes you longer to get through your show because there's just so much improv that happens. But
I think that's the answer, right? There's a dynamic that goes on that's dependent on each party.
And
exactly.
if everyone
I was going to say, I think what you should do is when it comes time, when you get the inquiry, have the conversation and go, like when they say, oh, I'm thinking about having a dinner party. You go, great, I have some questions before we go forward. I go, you explain, I've done a lot of these and I know the best way to do them. Are you going to have multiple courses? Are you going to have this? Are you going to have that? Gather as much information as you can about the event. Oh, we're going to have 4 courses. We're having cocktails. We're having this. Everyone's going to be seated. They're going to be standing. Find out all that information. And then you say, okay, that's a great idea. So what we'll do, I go, there's a few ways we can go about it. I'm going to suggest 2 that I think will work best. And always suggest 2 because the answer is yes and yes, as opposed to it's this or no. So then you go like, we could do a mixture where we do a little bit of roving as people arrive. And then we can do one set after the main, after entrees are served. And then you can enjoy your main meals and your desserts and the rest of your evening from there. And you can quote them on that. Or you can go, or we can do this way. Which would you prefer? Option 1 or option 2?
Absolutely. Let's keep in mind his question, and that's such good feedback and advice in general for when a client's booking you. But he's asking the length of time, right? And so that's right. Find as much info as you can, and also keep in mind, know how to end your show if like the audience is just wildly drunk, and it's totally okay to end the show earlier than what is agreed upon if like it needs that to happen because you'd rather. Like I remember I was talking to Raymond Crow, international extraordinaire magician.
Love Raymond Crow.
And I stagehanded for him for a corporate gig in Brisbane, and he was telling me like the day before, he gets paid a lot of money to do a corporate appearance, and he ended his set like I think he was meant to do 20 minutes or 25 minutes, and he ended it at just after. I think he ended it at 15 minutes, so like 10 minutes early. But he said that he just, it was better for the event that he did that. And also he didn't want to put up with these wildly drunk people. And,
but hold on, back to it's better for the event that he did that. There's your answer, that it's dependent. And please don't be the bad magician that gets long-winded just because you have 10 tricks in your bag. You're going to do all 10 because that's what you rehearsed at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact
I love 5 great ones. Leave them wanting more.
Yeah. And the fact that you can do so much material is really good because let's just say there's a scenario where they're like, he dropped a pot of spaghetti and he has to make another batch. Can you do another 6 minutes? Yeah, I can do that. So the fact that you can do all this time doesn't mean you have to, but it's so good. You are effectively a get out of jail free card, Andrew. Like you just got to show them that like whatever the scenario is, you got it, you can control it, and you can deliver an amazing performance and ensure that the customer experience is phenomenal.
You know what I'll do, because there's one more speak pipe and then we got to wrap it up. I actually have a full recording of a family like birthday house dinner show that I did. I put it on YouTube because I gave it to the client because they flew me to New Zealand to do this house party for them, like a parlor show. And if you guys want to see it, reach out to me on Instagram, not the Magic Guys, but my Instagram at Josh Lambito, and I'll send you this unlisted link if you want to get a vibe for like what a private party show is like, where some people are standing up, they're drinking, and like this is the example I have of like a 30-minute show actually going for an hour, or they're carrying on. So reach out to me if you want to see that. I just thought I'd throw it out there because I do have it. It's it's pretty funny. But one more question. From Anonymous again. I love this anonymity.
Anonymous.
Thank you. No, anonymity.
Anonymity?
And Mike Smith and Adonis, you guys have great questions. What I would love to talk about them, but we're out of time. Please send those as a voicemail because that's a whole fantastic topic I would love to talk about. All right, last question. Here we go. It's coming up. 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, do you know who is the oldest known magician as an illusionist or magician in history?
Doug Kahn.
Doug. And thank you for listening to the Magic.
And that's it, guys. Thank you very much. The oldest guy in the
my hypothesis goes back to a deity by the name of Horus. There might have been others that prefaced him, but I would imagine some of the older gods were pretty good tricksters. I'm guessing.
Well, maybe I should do a history lesson on that. The last episode we did, as far as magicians goes, was the first magician in modern magic, which was Robert Houdin. We did that a couple of episodes ago, but maybe we take it right back and see who was the first magician.
Let's find out who the first one was. Well, look, all I can say is thank you so much for sending all those lovely voicemails. That just filled up the whole episode. We've gone over time trying to answer them all. So let's keep doing that.
I can note that Reginald Scott published The Discovery of Witchcraft in 1594, which is the book that put the light of magic in the public eye. Prior to that, it was all witches and wizards. He said, here's their methods. And that's where magic became public knowledge.
Nice. Well, I think that's as good as any final word we would have got for this episode.
There we go. Yeah.
My friends, Magic guys and girls, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for another banger. Until then, keep doing your gigs, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.